you're going to learn how to make this You Make Me Happy rainbow card. It is featuring our sale-a-bration paper, Sunshine and Rainbows, which I'll show you in a minute. It's featuring the Brilliant Rainbows dies, that's this die here, some stitch rectangles, and the Rainbow of Happiness stamp set. Okay, if you're in my card club, then you already have a kit, and you're going to be able to follow along without having to cut out so many pieces. So you'll have all these pieces cut for you. But I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning for the benefit of everybody watching. And I'm going to be using, just so you know, if you want to take out your ink, I'm going to be using Misty Moonlight for the sentiment because it's a coordinating color. So let's do this first. Before I do anything else, I want to take out the trimmer, and we're going to make the card bases. So this is a card that is horizontal. So it's an A2 card, but it's, it stands up like this, and you could make cards open this way too, and it would still probably work, but I like this card to go this way. So we're going to take our Stampin', or it's called Simply Scored. Okay, then we'll do our Stampin' trimmer. We're going to take Magenta Madness cardstock because it's a coordinating color for the Rainbow, Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper. And because we're going to be making cards that are going to go like this, okay, let me just show you one more time. I'm just going to let you visualize this. Because they're going to stand up like this, the paper, the 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, needs to be scored at the 4 1/4 mark. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to make 2 cards at once. So because I'm going to score it at the 4 1/4 mark. So 4 1/4. I'm going to lift this up and let you see that. See? And now I'm going to be able to turn it, and when I cut it, I have 2 cards. Okay, so that's the nice part. So we're going to take, that's the only time we need this Simply Scored, and you could actually score with your paper trimmer as well. You don't need, like if your paper trimmer has a score on it, but I have one, I'm using it a lot for, I just finished a Designer Series paper share, so I'm just using both of my blades for cutting. I took away my scoring blade. Anyway, so now that we've scored at 4 1/4, we need to cut this. It's an 11-inch piece of paper, so we need to go up to the 5.5-inch mark, and it's going to be cut at 5.5, and then you get 2 cards at once. And that's the way I always make my cards. I never just make 1 card. You always make 2 cards out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And then while you have this out, so while you have this, because this has a little bit of a corner on it, see, this trimmer, so I'm going to take, we scored down, and I'm going to then fold this up. I'm going to use that little corner to help me when I crease my card. So let me just find, I just had a bone folder. Well, I did when I took it out. You can either use a bone, here's a bone folder. You can use a bone folder, a spatula, something, and you're going to push up against that edge and just sort of, burnish the edges. And so that's, I'm just doing a little better so I can feel it. And we'll go ahead and make, I could just go ahead and do that to both of them at once. Okay, so now my card is nice and flat. Okay, we'll do that again using the corner. All right, so now while we have this trimmer out, I want to mention a couple things. When you're cutting this rectangle here, I find that these work a little better with the stitch rectangles when it's thick basic white cardstock. So I'm going to take out a piece of thick basic white cardstock when I do the die cutting for this middle piece. Hope that makes sense. Now I'm going to take out regular basic white. You don't want to waste the thick basic white for the inside of a card. So here's a piece of regular, as I drop things on the floor, here's a piece of regular basic white cardstock. It's not called regular basic white, it's just called basic white. So if it's called basic white, it means it's not thick. And if it says thick, that means it's thick. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and trim this down. So we're just going to go 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'll just go ahead and make 2 of these at once. 5 1/4, and this is for the inside of the card, and we can decorate it too if we want. You just flip it around, 5 1/4. Save these little extra pieces for extra stamping later. And you can make 4 of the insides of the card at once. So you can, if you want to stamp on them, you can, but you would not adhere them until after you're done stamping on them, okay? But if I'm not going to be stamping on the inside, these are going to be blank inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them using Seal Plus. I don't like the regular seal that much. I like Seal Plus. It just works better for me, personal preference. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but you know what? It works, and it doesn't get caught up in everything. So I just like it better. Everybody has their adhesive of choice, and sometimes, you just might want to use glue for the inside. That's fine too. I just like to use Seal Plus. It has little ridges and it's easy. Of course, it just ran out. I could show you how to change it, but let's just gonna keep on going. In other videos, I have shown you how to change it. All right, so you see those little ridges on there? Whoops, hold on. It's so strong, it just got stuck on, I'm stuck on you. It got stuck on another piece of paper. Wow, see how strong that is? It got stuck so quickly. Now I have to put some more adhesive on there because it just stuck on the other piece of paper. Just from me trying to flip it over. Very, very strong adhesive. It's great for boxes, but I also use tear and tape for boxes. I don't have to make 2 cards today. I'm making, what I'm doing is just while I'm here, I'm making 2 cards, but we'll probably just see how it goes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the die cutting. I'm going to pull up the machine, and I just wanted to show you a few things. We can come back to the trimmer a little bit later and cut that piece, but these will both work really well, and so will some other Sunshine and Rainbows paper. So for the backgrounds of this card, we're going to go ahead and die cut 2 pieces at once. So we have our cardstock. See, this piece would have worked really well too, and I'll show you all the pieces in a moment. Because this paper, by the way, is free, and it's one of the things I'm featuring during sale-a-bration. I'm featuring the sale-a-bration card club I'm doing is all, like every single card I make in this series, and you can see them in the sale-a-bration playlist. Every card I make features one of the free products you can earn during sale-a-bration. So this particular paper that we're about to die cut is free when you spend $50 at my Stampin' Up store. We're going to take this nice stitched rectangle and we're going to cut it. Cut the pieces out. So the sandwich is, when you're die cutting, is for this Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you're using plate 1, that's your platform. And then you're going to use this thin die adapter, which is just called plate number 2. It's whenever you have thin metal dies, you have to use it. Then we're going to use one of the plate number 3s. Put that down. We're going to go ahead and cut 2 of these at once. 2 of these pieces of designer series paper at once with a rectangle, just like so. And it doesn't really matter where you put this. The whole background's cool, and we're covering some of it up anyway. It doesn't really matter where you put it, but you kind of want it to be straight. So in that case, you could use a little tiny piece of painter's tape, but you don't want the painter's tape to rip your designer series paper. So when you're using painter's tape, you can, let me get this piece off. Come on now. Let's see, when you're using it, you can use it as sort of like a little, just trying to get it off, like a little lint remover on your clothes, just so it doesn't rip the paper. So I'm wearing a sweatshirt because I'm kind of cold. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of doing that to get a little bit of lint on here. That way when I put the piece of tape on there, it doesn't rip my paper. But it also kind of keeps this straight. Now it doesn't have to be too straight. Just like it kind of has to be straight a little bit, but like it's already crooked a little bit. I mean, the design is crooked a little bit, so don't worry about it too much being too straight, but that should work. Now we're going to take a top plate, and we're taking another number 3 plate, and we're putting that on top, and we're going to roll it through. Now let me just, because of the way the camera is, what I love about the machine is you can roll it through either way. And although I'm right-handed, I just don't want to get in front of the camera here. I'm just going to roll it through with my left hand so you can see that. And we have a little bit more die cutting to do and some more trimming, but I'll write these measurements down for you. It feels a little tight, I know, This machine is harder to use than the ScanNCut because it does have to do some cranking. But there's some things you can do with metal dies that you just can't do with other kinds of machines. Now hopefully this doesn't rip because I put enough lint on it. Okay, good. If it rips, that's okay. We have a piece underneath because we did 2 at once. And I probably shouldn't have stuck it. I could have just stuck it to the outside. That would have been better. I could have stuck this paper, like this little piece of tape here. It didn't have to go into the inside. I probably should have stuck it like right there and not touching the inside. All right, so we have this nice, show you how this looks so far. This nice stitch rectangle for the background of our card. Oops, I have to go through again because I wasn't close enough to the edge of the machine, to the edge of the paper. That's all good. It's all fine. See, I had it hanging over the edge of the plate. So we're going to pull that back up here. We're going to tape it back. It just didn't cut all the way through on the right side. So we're going to go ahead and put that sandwich back together. Oops, let's put this little piece back together. We'll hopefully move it. I'm going to move it over a little bit, and hopefully it gets all in the machine. Bring the machine back up. And you're getting to see what happens in real life. You know, sometimes that happens. No big deal. Just roll it back through while everything's in place. Now, if it gets messed up, that's what I have more paper for. You get 48 sheets in a pack, right? We don't sweat the small stuff. So you get 4 of each sheet. And there's so many different sheets which would work great for this background. There's lots of different rainbow patterns. Let's see if that worked. Did it work? Oh, yes, it worked this time. Except that it's kind of crooked. That's funny because it didn't go back to the same place twice. But that's why I have extra paper. So we're going to do it again. I'm just going to get another piece of rainbow paper. I'm going to get this tape off, and I'm not going to put the tape on as tight this time, and I'm going to move the paper a little bit to the middle. So now it's a chance, though, to show you this paper as I go look for some more sheets to use for this. So here's the one side, here's the other. Here's another piece. Here's the other. Okay, so I'm going to keep this piece out. We're going to do it again. Here, let's show you the other side of that. Okay. This piece we're using for this card, some clouds. We have a new cloud punch, which punches this out perfectly. This one would be appropriate as a background for this card. I like this one for using with my otters. Looks like water patterns. Okay, and then look at this, fun little suns and this piece. So we need these 2 pieces. So perfect. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to just put that die in the middle more, closer to the middle, only because I don't feel like, usually I'm trying to save paper, but right now I don't feel like messing with it. So we're just going to, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to put the die close to the middle and just roll it through and see what happens. So we're going to go like that. Okay. Just because of time, but I still need that. I still don't want to cheat on my little bit of painter's tape trick to make it straight. So we're going to push that down like that. Now, I'm not going to have it running over it because it could rip the paper. All right, looking for my top plate. Maybe did it get buried under here somewhere? Yes, it did. And by the way, these are fine. All you do when you get crooked pieces like that is you just die cut them again with smaller pieces. And you can make yourself little frames. Okay, let's see how this one came out. Closer to the middle of the paper. Okay, perfect. So now we have our pieces to adhere. We'll go ahead and do 2 cards at once while we're here. So these are just going to get adhered to this card in the center with Seal Plus. And there's no trick to it. We're not using any dimensionals yet. We'll use dimensionals on the next part. I really wanted the Magenta Madness to show through. We actually make a little bit bigger frame in this set. See, so this is your, just in case you're wondering, with these stitch rectangles, there is a bigger frame, but I just thought the bigger frame was not going to let my paper show through as much. So I chose to use the second frame, and I really like the stitching on the rectangles. Okay, that's not the one. This must be the one. You are the one. Okay, putting that on the other card, which is already down here somewhere. I don't know how I can start out with like completely cleaning my table with nothing on it to being like I can't find anything in just those couple minutes. How's that happen? Okay, we're going to put this there. It's a little bit of Seal Plus. All right, there we go. So now some of you, and the reason I did both of these anyways, because I was very limited in how much paper I was able to get before I did the card club. Now I can get as much as I want. It's not a problem because every time I order, I get more of this stuff. And I'm doing a workshop on this one next. But some of you have this paper and some of you have this paper because I didn't have enough sheets to give everybody the same kind of paper in their kit. All right, so now let's do this part. This part, you make me happy. We want to leave a little, there's only trick to this part is I need to, before I put my rainbow in there to die cut it, I need to make sure that I have enough room for that you make me happy sentiment. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're not going to stamp it though. Never stamp until the end because we want to make sure we get a good die cut first. So let me just, this is when I was telling you we're going to use the thick basic white cardstock now, right? Not the thin one, the thick one, whenever you're cutting this kind of thing. All right, so we're going to take that piece and we're putting it down and we're going to put this rectangle down and we're going to then take this rainbow and we're going to put that down. But before we tape it all together, we need to take that stamp and make sure it's going to fit. Okay, so you're going to take the stamp from the Rainbow of Happiness. You make me happy, right? And don't worry that some of them get stained because of the colors, right? When I use some magenta on there. I've actually used the stamp set a lot. I've already used it on my channel, so if you missed that, I did teach how to use it on my channel. So we're going to just go in there. That's just a little guide. Do not roll this through your machine. It's a guide, okay? A guide. Don't roll it through. I mean, you're not rolling the stamp through. I'm just using it as a guide. Okay, a little bit of lint on there. Something like that, and just sort of tape it. I'm pulling that back out. I just wanted to make sure there's enough room for that sentiment. Because a few times when I cut it, there wasn't enough room. And that's kind of I learned the hard way. So now we're going to roll it through. Okay, and we're going to see, before I untape it, I'm going to flip it over. Okay, it looks like I got a good impression. It looks like it all went through, so then I can untape it. So that's my little double check. I just double check it. Okay, so now what you want to do is, there's a couple things you want to do now. In my next workshop series, we're going to be doing, right now we're doing Card Club, but soon, probably this weekend, after I'm done my Eden's Garden workshop, I'm going to be starting the next workshop series, which is the Rainbow of Happiness, and we'll be doing some watercoloring. So you want to save all of these pieces, right? Because you can watercolor them, and we can use the watercolor pencils. There's 2 watercolor pencil collections, and there's many, many ways to color these, and it's just going to be so cool to have lots of options. So you want to save these little pieces to make little rainbows with them later, and you can color them different colors. Okay, conversely, I need to show you this right now because we're on the topic. There was a piece of paper that you may have seen me go through when I was talking about the sunshine here. Not this paper. We're going to put this paper behind a rainbow, but there's a piece of paper like this in your kit. This piece of paper aligns perfectly with this. So as long as you tape it on there, you can get loads and loads of rainbows out of your designer series paper. So this is just one more way it coordinates with your project. But designer series paper is not as good to stamp on. It's better to stamp on the basic white paper. Okay. Now, just in case I mess up on the stamps, and I'm just going to go ahead and do one more of these because, I don't want to have to, you know, take out this whole machine again after when I get to the stamping part. So I think I'd just rather have an extra one of these, although I probably have some in my kit right there. Just better safe than sorry. So we're just going to go in there, and again, thick basic white comes out better. If you're not getting good results on this rainbow, just ask yourself, are you using the same kind of cardstock that I'm using? Or are you using some other cheapy kind that's kind of going through the machine and all that? So you want to use, our cardstock is good quality. So we want to try to use the good stuff, and you'll get good results. Okay, let's flip it over. All right. So I think I can safely put this guy on the floor to get him out of the way. Now, back to what we were doing here. We have this. Take that off carefully. Wiggle the little rainbow. Wiggle that out. And I'm putting the dies back. I'm starting to use a different little system. So you can get little magnetic sheets at the craft stores, or I'm just, you know, just vent covers, V-E-N-T, like at the home supply store. And then you can get our empty stamp cases, empty Stampin' Up! Stamp cases. We sell them in a pack of 4, and you can put your magnetic sheets in them and save them. Now I've tried storing them with the stamp sets before, and it was just too crowded in the case. There's already too much going on in the case, so I don't want to store them in the same case. That's my personal preference. So I'm storing the dies. Well, actually, not that one. I wouldn't store in the same case anyway. That's not even the same set. These are a separate set of independent dies, stitch rectangles. They don't go with the stamp set, so of course I wouldn't store them with the stamp set. But I'm saying a stamp set like this, the Brilliant Rainbow dies, right? This, you could store it with your stamps. That's one way to store it. But I chose not to because I feel like I want to just be able to get to things easier, and I think it'll be too crowded in there because you see how I'm storing, even though I could store the dies over here, that would be fine if you don't want to buy extra stamp cases, but I just rather store them separately. Anyway, so this is how I store my stamps. Anyway, let's now stamp the You Make Me Happy. So I'm going to take stamping block D, which is pretty much the stamping block that you can use for everything. And you're going to lay it here. You're going to lay when you have photopolymer stamps, you want to lay them down on the table face up, flat side up. And if it doesn't fit across, or you shouldn't even use it across, try to use it at a diagonal like this, because it gives you more leverage when this thing is not near the edge of the... So if you were to go across, it would be too close to the edge. It gives you much more leverage. Now you're going to I take a silicone mat. I like to stamp on a silicone mat. And you're going to make sure the stitching is up. And we're going to get both of these. And you know what? I may just get, you know, in case, I don't want to get anything on my hands. So I'm going to pull this out now in case I do another. Wait, that one's probably a little crooked. These are my extra pieces. In case I mess up, I just want to have one ready. Okay, one ready in case. But we're not going to mess up. We got to think positive. So we're going to stamp onto the mat first with the Misty Moonlight. So we're going to open up the Misty Moonlight. Tap, 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 and stamp. Oh, it came out good the first time. Okay, I'm happy with that. So once it comes out good on your mat, you can stamp it under your rainbow. Hold it for a couple seconds, and it came out. Yay! So happy. Although I don't know how I just got ink up there. Interesting. I didn't even do anything, and ink got up. Oh, you know what? Ink got up there from there. So we better wipe that part off. And that's okay. You know what I do is go for it, and I just take my blending brush and, you know, color the whole thing. So let's get the edge of that off with the baby wipe. And let's do the other one. So in other words, if you get ink there, just go ahead and put ink all over the rainbow. And you can fix it that way. So tap, tap, tap. It centers perfectly under the rainbow. You Make Me Happy. Okay, so that's the one we're going to go for. That's the one we're going to use. But you know what? Let's just do one more because I have it out already. I already have the stamp out. And another reason you want to stamp onto the mat first is because you want to make sure your stamp's not upside down and you're kind of hard to read. So that's why I always like to stamp on my mat first. All right, that's all the stamping we need to do, believe it or not. I mean, feel free to do all kinds of fun stuff in the inside of your card if you want. But for this Sale-a-bration card club, I'm just making the cards very simple. So now we need a piece to put behind it. So we're going to take, let me just go ahead and wipe this off though. Let me just wipe it off. Baby wipe. Okay, so I don't get anything on me. Now we're going to take this little piece here. And we're going to go ahead and cut little strips. Now, this is 6 inches, this paper. And you want to make sure that you turn it this way. Okay, and you want to cut a 2-inch piece of it. Okay, so you turn it this way because we want the lines to be long, and we want to cut a 2-inch piece. Okay, now you want it to be 2 inches by 3 inches. So now you're going to turn it this way, and you're going to cut a 3-inch piece. And now you have 2 pieces at once, and these are going to be perfect pieces to put behind our rainbows. Not that one, but these 2 rainbows. So we have, now you have two choices. You can put it like, you know, like that, or like that. So it depends on how, you know, if you want the blue to show more. So this one has no pink in it, but I think it would be better like that because it kind of highlights the pink, you know, the pink from the magenta. But you can also do that. I mean, you can move it around where you want to move it. But I'm thinking it looks a little better like that. But either way, each of you get a different piece anyway. You don't all have the same. Your pieces aren't in the same spot. Now you want to use dimensionals for this one. So you want to take your mini dimensionals. These are the mini dimensionals. See, they're tiny ones, and you want to put one inside the rainbow like that, and then put a few just close to the edge here. Oops. Get these little adhesives off of here. All right. Sometimes instead of fighting with the mini dimensional, it's better to just get a new one. So we need about 5 just to hold this up because you want the dimension of your rainbow. Okay, got the adhesive off. Now you're going to leave the piece of paper down there, and you're going to take this one and sort of hover over it. Right? Hover over it to make sure it's straight. Push down, and you see? Now you have your dimensionals popping that up. Okay, let's do another one. Because we can get 2 cards made at the same time. One inside the rainbow. Now don't use glue because you want this to pop up. You don't want to use glue. Or you could use glue, but then it's going to ooze out of those little middle parts. Okay, centered. Okay, so now that that's done, now you're going to take your extra little pieces out on the side. I mean, you see these little extra areas, and you're going to put a couple extra mini dimensionals out there because you want this to pop up the same level on this card. Not a double level, just the same level. I mean, if you want it to be another level up higher, you could put more dimensionals back there, but I want them to be sort of the same level as the card. So I'm just kind of putting them back there. How did I run out of these? It's a constant battle. I'm constantly out of dimensionals. And I put them in every order, and I put them, because I'm also putting them in I put them in every kit for my crafty friends, and I put them, and I use them all the time, but I also order them all the time. So you can also use the side of your dimensional packs. I'm going to put that there. So it depends. I mean, I'm going to center it. You can also put a little bit of adhesive there. That would be fine, and but you still want to put. That's the one I ran out of. You still want to put a little bit of dimensionals on the side so it pops up. That's just going to hold the middle part. Jiggle it. I'm just trying to, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of chopping this over here. Sometimes when you run out of dimensionals, you don't want to throw the pack away, you know, until every little bit is gone. Every little shred, I just cut them apart. All right, good, good, good. Put that on the other card. And then we're just gonna embellish it with a few little butterflies. Oh, do we have another spammer came in to visit us? All right, I just want to say hello to you guys as I'm embellishing my card here. Tina, hello. Gloria, I saw you guys come in and I saw you say hello. I was just focused and couldn't stop what I was doing. Hello, Gloria and Yvonne, and Crafty Crafter from Michigan, and Anne from Pennsylvania. Okay, you guys like the paper trimmer edges of the corner just to make sure it's equal. Okay, so you're talking about the weather here. Yeah, so Linda, I'm always cold, so I don't like when it's rainy and cold weather. Oops, I want to just do it the way I had my sample. I had 2 butterflies on one side, like a big one and a little one. These are called the brushed brass butterflies. They are in the January to June mini catalog. So we'll put like one over there. And I'm going to do 2 over here. I'll just do something like that. Yeah, just a little bit different. I mean, just something like that. You want to do an odd number. Yeah, it does seem like the painter's tape, Dixie. I agree. The painter's tape is very sticky and it kind of rips your paper. That's why you kind of get it off to the edge there, and that seems to work. Katie loves the rainbow set. I'm about to open the catalog and show you where the stuff is that I'm using. And I'm going to write down the measurements. Yeah, little lint roller to remove the little bits of paper from their dies. And there's also a die brush. So good tip, Yvonne. And there's a die brush to remove all the little bits too. All right, thank you, Linda. And hello, Jen from Florida. So what you want to do is take, this is just real quick now, just quick and dirty measurements. Now, if you're in my club, you got the whole entire PDF, but I still like to make each video tutorial on YouTube kind of stand alone. So you have the 8.5, right, by the 5.5. Card, right? So the card. And let me just show you, visualize what that means. What that means is you have an 8.5 by 5.5 card. That's how big your piece of cardstock is for your card. It's an A2 card. And then you're going to score it at 4.25. Now you saw me make 2 at once, but I have to tell you how to make 1. You know what I'm saying? For as far as your measurements for this one card are, right? You're making 1 card. That's how you make 1 card. So then you had the inside, right? The inside layer was 5.25 times 4, and that was that one there. And then we had the rectangle, and then the DSP, well, and then plus 2 rectangles. I'm not going to tell you the sizes of the rectangles, but the DSP was 3 inches by 2 inches. Okay, just so you, that's the DSP behind there. And that's how to make this card. So now let's talk about these things and the rest of the cards we're making in this club. So we're going to just show you in this catalog where the sunshine and rainbows is. Okay, here's the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. And the next workshop series is going to be based on this bundle. So inside the description of this video, if you want to sign up for the workshop series, you're going to get all kinds of crafty goodness in there. Some things that you can't even get anymore that I've been hoarding to put in your kits. I'm going to give you 12 sheets of the paper, of course, and lots of extra little, extra things. Cardstock, designer series paper, specialty papers, adhesive, dimensionals, ribbon, embellishments, all kinds of stuff to work on your projects as we focus on this Rainbow of Happiness bundle. It is a very sweet bundle. Now I'm going to show you. It's very sweet and it makes me happy. It's just a happy bundle. So sale-a-bration is just something really fun going on. And you can earn free items. And one of the things you can earn is this paper that I just showed you. And I have to reach across. I had it all marked off, but everything's kind of far away from me now. So here's the paper. So these are different things you can get for free. So the paper I just used. Thank you. I'm glad you're crafting along with me, Sue. That's awesome. This is the paper we just used in this video. Okay? So it's called Sunshine and Rainbows Design Series paper. Now this is a series that I'm working on for sale-a-bration. And in this series, we're doing lots of fun stuff in this series. We started out the series. Let me find it. Where's the first card we did? Okay, hold on. This is lots of sale-a-bration projects in this folder. Okay, first card in the series we did on YouTube is this card here. I showed you from start to finish how to make the Awesome Otters sale-a-bration card. Why Awesome Otters? Because it's one of these sale-a-bration items. See? Awesome Otters. Okay, so we made this card. I showed you how to make it with the Stampin' blends. We did the embossing and all that. So if you missed it, go back in the same series where this one is part of, and you're going to be able to see this sale-a-bration card we made in this series. I'm just calling it the sale-a-bration series because there's other things in the series. Then card number 2, we made one of these. Wait, we made this one. Did we make this one or this one? I already forget. I think it was this one. But this was card 2, Easter Blessings. Nope, it could have been Mother's Day. I don't know. Maybe you guys remember. But we're going to make the one that we didn't make already. We're going to make the next time. So these are 2 of the cards in the Card Club series. And these focus on another free item, which is dun-dun-dun, Daffodil Delight, or Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper. And I also just kind of show you something else you can make with that paper and step it up with some dies as well. So this is another free sale-a-bration product. All right, then, so that's what we've done so far. We are on card 3 of the 6 projects we're making for this club. We'll probably make 2 of them together. One's a little box. So we're still going to work on this card here. That's what we're going to be working on. That's this card from the club, Hello Friend. And we're also going to make a little Valentine box project with a stamp set from Friendly Hello. This is a free bundle you get when you spend $100 at my store. And we're going to be focusing, well, we already did the rainbow paper. Okay, and then I just wanted to show you some other things. So you just got to see the card clubs, and plus there's a box thing. And then here are some things. This one we're going to be making in my Rainbow of Happiness workshop. I'm going to cut out some clouds from you with a cloud punch. This one I made on YouTube as part of an Ink It Up series. Okay, another sale-a-bration product is the marble, Simply Marvelous. And that paper is something I showed you with the ScanNCut on my channel. Here are some projects I created showing you how to use this paper with the ScanNCut. So this is a free sale-a-bration item. Actually, 2 free sale-a-bration items. I didn't just use the free paper, Simply Marvelous, but I also used this free stamp set. Okay, so I'm really focusing on sale-a-bration items. Here's another sale-a-bration project I did with the ScanNCut on this channel. And then just yesterday, I went crazy with the Simply Marvelous paper. So if you missed this tutorial I did yesterday, it was how to use the decorative mask. And I used Simply Marvelous for all of these different card backgrounds to decorate this mini paper pumpkin box. And then even after I was done doing that video that I did live on YouTube yesterday, I went back and made loads and loads more cards using that masking technique and this free paper called Simply Marvelous. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an idea of all kinds of things you can do with these free sale-a-bration items. And they are available until February. Now, my other things are available, like this catalog's where to go. The other catalog's available much longer. This one, though, the free items, such as the paper I used in today's tutorial, is available till February 28th. But this one here will be available much longer. I have to get close, June 30th. So this catalog here with the Rainbow of Happiness bundle is available till June 30th, but the free items are available till February 28th when you spend money at my Stampin' Up store. Then you earn those. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And I hope you will give this project a try. And with your own materials or the materials I just shared with you. Hello, Sherry. And thank you for your comment, Tina. And that's all for now. This is the Papered Chef. See you next time.